All right, thank you. We are ready to start this evening. It's November 22nd, 2016, and we are here with all our board members, but Mr. Young, and he will be late. He's in a training conference, and he'll be late, especially understanding how the traffic is from downtown. So we'll be looking forward to him joining us. And our superintendent is on vacation, and we are grateful to have Mr. Godfrey sitting in her spot, and our business administrator, and we're happy to have our three board member elect people that were officially canvassed and elected today. So it's official. We are official, but you're official, but you're not. You're official that you're the board member elect, and you'll be sworn in. But we're happy to have you at the table with us, and we'll be, lots of things that'll be helpful for you to know. So thanks for being here with us. We begin our board meeting with our ends policy, and this when we left the last time, and just for you, our future board members, and I think you've probably been here and maybe you know what we're doing, but for the last almost 2 years, we have been attempting to create basically goals for the district. We call them ends policies, and we will have some time to help you know exactly what that is and how these policies work. But in any case, we have completed 3 of 4, and we're just working on the 4th one. So, all right, I think Mr. Thomas? Yes. When we finished last time, we were working on the ends policy that is continuing to promote and support physically and emotionally safe environments for learning. And we had decided there would possibly be 2 categories: physically safe environments and emotionally safe environments. And we'd asked Scott to come back with maybe a list of the safety plan that we currently have and help us so we could know about that.
And what I'm going to ask tonight, I'm having Lance send out, based on my notes and the discussions we've had for the past couple of months, I'm having Lance hand out a sample ends policy. I took good notes and listened to the discussions. We went back and kind of took a stab at this just for your review, which will be the first slide in tonight's presentation. And what I'd like to do, with your permission, is kind of wait for that presentation because it's very comprehensive and it goes through all of the, and this would be the first slide. So I can read through this. Are you okay if I just read this to the group? And as the board has continued to demonstrate their commitment to safety and security, I like what Lance said one day, and that was that obviously in the school district, providing a quality education for all students is the most important thing we do, but safety and security is certainly the top priority. That's certainly a priority. So on an ends policy or a board goal directly related to safety and security, but the Jordan School District Board of Education will continue to support and implement school safety and security programs and procedures to provide a safe environment where learning can occur. I will take feedback, direction. This was just I took all my notes and we tried to summarize it into a general statement. But Lance has prepared, and if you want to preview it now, we can look at it, but it's part of the superintendent's report, and it just sequentially goes through and lists every one of those programs and procedures that we follow.
So I think what our thought was that I think as we talked about this, we feel like we do have a good plan for safety, but we know that that's important to our community because they told us it was. And I think they told us it was not in the context that we don't do it, but we asked the question, if you could describe, create a new school, a perfect school, what would it look like? And that was a key element. And again, we feel like we probably do a pretty good job of this, but we know this is a very important element for our patrons. So I think our thought was we want to continue that, but maybe we wanted to have some specific itemized parts of that.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you say? Do you want him to go through his presentation now or wait till later? Or do you want him to just kind of go through the key elements? Or what do you think?
I think that if it gets us through the meeting sooner, we should just do it now because I mean you have it on the superintendent's and we've got it in board docs, but it's pertinent to this.
It is.
And I would say just do it now. Plus then Mr. Everill can go home earlier.
Lance, you maybe see if Robert can help us cue that up and would be happy to go through this. I think that the board will be pleased and proud of the work. I mean, we talk about things over the years and this piece and that part, but when you look at it cumulatively and you look at a comprehensive presentation, I think the goal was once we go through these 20 or so items on the slides that the board would say, yes, this is what we're talking about, or this is what we would like changed, and here's where we would like it to be. And our goal was to either put it on the district website or link it. We plan on putting it on the auxiliary services site on our drop down for safety and security, but maybe the board would direct us to put it on the district website as well.
And I think what we're looking for here, we're looking for some elements that we can identify to put in our policy to say this is what we're going to, at the end of the year, evaluate on. So I think that's what we're looking for as we go through this. What are maybe just the key elements or so on that we can put on, and then at the end of the year as we do a superintendent review, then those will be the key elements that we look at. Yes, Richard?
Just on the idea of placement, I don't have a problem with it being on the auxiliary services, but I would like at least a connection point on the main district website.
I think once you see this, it'll really help. I know as patrons have questions, and I know there was one patron in particular that was asking, what about, what is my school doing? I think when you see this and the board is able to give direction back to patrons, students, teachers, they can say, well, please refer to this so you can comprehensively see everything that we provide and everything we've directed staff to do. I mean, we're pretty proud of this, and it'll Lance, what do you think, about 10 minutes, maybe 10, 12 minutes to go through this? We've worked on it. I appreciate the work that Lance has done because, I get to come and listen to the board and engage and hear all of these great ideas and get direction and receive this support. But then I go back to a team of professionals who I say, implement all of this, put it into practice, and they do that. So I will turn some time over with your support to Lance and go through this and then take any feedback you have for us. Here, Lance.
Hey, good evening. Happy to be here. Happy to be here with you all this evening. So we handed out the ends policy. I'm going to skip then to the next slide. And like Scott said, we're happy to take feedback. And
please remember, this is not. This is just an example. This ends policy was based on the feedback and notes that I took, but you can change it. This is okay.
Okay, so the things that I want to talk about today basically encompass, obviously we have engineered solutions where we go in and make improvements on a facility. So we have physical improvements. We have drills so the students and staff can practice how to deal with an emergency situation. Education and training, which is important. Collaboration. It's really important that we collaborate with all of our stakeholders in the community and the emergency response professionals. We also want to review the Jordan Safety and Security Assessments, the JSSAs, talk about alarm response and monitoring, declared emergencies that could affect a good portion of our district or the entire district, and online resources, tools for schools. So physical improvements, starting with digital surveillance cameras. We have completed all of our upgrades at all locations now, and these are internet-based, high-resolution, wide-angled cameras, so we have better viewing and surveillance and protection on all properties. These are interior and exterior cameras. We've also installed a camera in every portable classroom. Now, that's not designed to film students and staff during the day. It's not recording during the day. That camera only comes on when the alarm system is activated at night. So we have found over the years that sometimes portables become targets for break-ins, and so this helps provide some coverage inside that room. Once again, only comes on once the alarm system is secured in the evening. We've installed monitors in the main offices. It's also, it serves as a way for the office staff to be able to quickly view, just at a glance once in a while, those cameras. But it also is important to communicate to our public that our grounds and buildings are under surveillance. Not everyone speaks English or reads English, and so that's a quick, easy view in the main office to be able to see that we have surveillance.
Lance?
Yes.
Do the do the monitors automatically switch from camera to camera, or do they have to physically move the camera?
We can set them to switch through, so we can have them rotate through all or partial. Some of the schools prefer partial because they don't want everybody to see all of their camera views, particularly students they are afraid might study those. But the nice thing, too, is we have a surveillance server at every school location where the schools can get on that and access and manipulate the cameras, and they can also review recordings. So that's really helpful for them when they have an incident at a school.
If you remember, 3 years ago, part of the board, the initiative, Safety and Security Initiative, included doubling the number of cameras. So I believe at all of our elementaries, we went from 8 to 16, at the middle school, 16 to 32, and at the high school, 32 to 64. And then we also install those, and sometimes a school will call and say, hey, we just need one more, or this is a high. So we move them around from time to time based on what the needs of the schools are.
They're nice. They're simple to use. I think the schools have really improved, or I think it's improved their overall view of the campus, and they've enjoyed those. So along with physical improvements, we have completed all of the installation of card readers on all portable classroom doors. That's very nice because then we can control that access. I'm trying to have this campaign that people understand that, when you're inside of a portable, you think of it as a classroom, but we really need to think of it first from the exterior, and it is a standalone building with an exterior door, and it's important that we keep those doors secured when we have students and staff in there, and also to protect the property. All portables are assigned a student pass, or a handful of student passes that can be checked out to students. They can utilize those to go in and use the restroom, go to the counseling center, whatever kind of school business they may have. It allows them into those student hallways into the building, then back into the portable once they've concluded their business. We're adding peepholes to portable doors, and that's a slow process, but it's going to take us some time, but we want to get peepholes in every one of those doors so that they can, when they have a knock on a door, they can see who's out there before they open up.
Question, is
Yes.
that at all levels or just elementary level that they have the cards to get into the school?
At all levels, all portables. Okay, along continuing physical improvements, we've completed all the security door installations at all of the elementary schools, except for the Daybreak Community Center side. As you know, that's an integrated facility with the school and the community center. So that's a work in progress. The way the school's handling that is they have very vigilant monitoring of all foot traffic up and down that hallway. So much so that even when they have lunchtime, they station one of their staff members in the hallway there to monitor that traffic as the students go to and from the cafeteria. And as you are all aware, because you approved this, we've completed the relocation of 4 middle school offices to the front of the building and installed security doors to make sure that when the visitors come that they're required to check into the main office. So we're really excited about that, and that'll be an ongoing effort until we can complete all of the schools. Physical improvements, we have AEDs at every location, including this building. We have 92 total units within the school district. These units are checked by the schools on a monthly basis to make sure that they have good functionality, but they're checked and serviced by the district quarterly, which includes any time that one is used. We make sure that we're monitoring the pads and the batteries, that they're functional, and that the pads have not expired and they're current. Additionally, at every location, we have CPR and AED trained personnel, and that's supported by Educational Support Services and the district nurses. Between October 2015 and October 2016, we had 2 middle school students suffer some type of cardiac condition while in the building. Due to CPR and AED trained people and having equipment out there, I'm pleased to say that both of those students have survived. And so if this effort has done anything ever, that was it. And if we never have to use them again, I feel like that it was money well spent.
I do have a question on that. As far as AEDs, and I know that we're not responsible. Well, no, we are. When the county uses our buildings for the gyms and the basketball and stuff like that, is there an AED in each gymnasium?
There's not one in the gym.
Is the county required to bring one in when we have students in the gym for those activities?
You know, that's a good question. I can follow up with the county on that and get back with you. I'm not aware of a requirement.
That has been a concern of a couple of the middle schools that I've spoken to, and I think that it should be a concern and it should be addressed. Whether or not they help to provide something that stays in the school, or if they're responsible to bring one with them when they come
Sure.
into the schools.
I'll follow up on that.
Okay.
Physical improvements continued. In parking lots, we're adding where needed, particularly at the elementary school, these pedestrian fences, which are designed to encourage off-foot traffic to appropriate crossing areas. You know, when kids get out of cars, they tend to just scatter. And so we're really trying to make sure that we get them to the appropriate crossing area where they have supported crossing. On a school property, the most dangerous location on any property that we have is actually in the parking lot and roadways. So we're really working to make sure that we're improving that everywhere that we can. We're also adding instructional signage for pedestrians and vehicles, paint, speed bumps, etc., where needed to try and improve things. An important part of this is that we consult with the Utah State engineer on best practices. We have them come out, do observations, give us recommendations. Drills and reporting. Of course, one of the most important things we can do is to make sure that students and staff are running their drills. And as you know, that's required by law. Elementary schools run a drill every month, starting with a fire drill and alternating with another emergency drill. Secondary schools are required to do 4 per year, starting with a fire drill and rotating with another emergency drill. We have new online forms on the Auxiliary Services website to make it easy for the schools to report this. They get on, they can fill out this form. It automatically comes back to us, compiled into a spreadsheet, and also our administrators of schools then have quick access to that. And it also helps with the end of the year reporting to make sure that the schools are conducting their exercises, and we can report it back to Utah State Risk Management as well. So we're really working to try and make things easier for the schools. And so we've also put online, in the same manner, a Safe Schools and Incident Command Committee meeting report form. Schools are required to at least meet quarterly. Some of them meet more than that, monthly even. And this is a nice, easy way for them to report that. Again, it compiles into a spreadsheet for us, and it helps us report back to the state. And we can ensure that schools are conducting those meetings, but then there's also sometimes some follow-up items that we can reach out to them and either support them or order equipment and things that they may need. Education and training. Obviously, this is very important. Every fall, we conduct our annual Incident Command training for administrators and key personnel in their schools that they identify to come to this. We just concluded our annual Incident Command training just within the last 2 weeks. We held 2 sessions at the Auxiliary Services building. In the spring, we conduct a year-end tabletop exercise, a workshop, and or a drill, combination of those. Last year, we did a full-scale reunification drill in coordination with West Jordan City and Fox Hollow Elementary, invited our administrators out to observe that. Annually, they do bus safety training for students, and this year, the Office of Communications and Transportation put together a new Be Safe on the Bus video. I don't know if any of you have had the pleasure of seeing that, but it's available online, and it's available to schools to show to their students at any time, which we're happy about. A couple of years ago, the Office of Communications produced a walking and biking safety video for pedestrian and bicycling safety in the community. That's called Be a Safety Superhero. We also roll these 2 programs out. We encourage schools to show them during Green Ribbon Month in September at the beginning of the school year. Last school year, we wrote and implemented a reunification action plan to aid in our incident command manual. Once any emergency has been dealt with, and if we have an issue where we need to release students either before or after their normal release time, then we have a reunification process that schools can utilize to make sure that we're following appropriate steps to keep the students safe and have a strict accounting for them during the process as we release them to parents and guardians. Additionally, the Office of Communications, in coordination with some of our local police and fire departments, put together a reunification video that's meant to educate parents and guardians, and that has been sent out via Skylert messages to parents and guardians, often multiple times. A big key to what we do is collaboration. We collaborate, of course, with the state school board and the state of Utah, in particular Utah State Risk Management. It's important that we collaborate with the Fire Marshal's Office, Salt Lake County Emergency Management, and the Board of Health. Also, we have great collaboration, very pleased about this, with all of our local fire and police departments, so much so that we invite the schools to have them out for all of their emergency drills, so they're on a first-name basis. the first responders are familiar with our buildings, and that then also schools can receive tips and ideas and ways to improve their process. We've had an agreement with the American Red Cross to use our facilities as emergency shelters, such as when we had a couple fires out in Harriman City and Harriman High was used. We also collaborate very closely with all of our municipal emergency responders and emergency management teams. A big part of the collaboration is we hold quarterly district Safe Schools Advisory Committee meetings. And you can see there we have quite a list on the top left of representation from the district, including Terry Timpson to represent the administrator of schools. We have principals from all levels.
Terry's going to provide a testimonial for that.
We appreciate your support. We have principal representation from all levels. We have teacher representation from all levels. And then you can see the various offices there from both the district office and auxiliary services that would support in any type of emergency response. We also have within this advisory committee parent representation, JEA representation, someone from Utah PTA. We have representation from every one of our municipalities, Salt Lake County Emergency Management, our local police and fire, representation from the LDS seminaries for the students that participate in release time. This is a great committee. It offers us a chance to look at district perspectives on safety and security and to also vet things through this group with all the stakeholders. Continuing with collaboration, around this time, schools begin putting together, at least elementary and middle schools, their safe walking routes for next school year. We work very closely with UDOT, with their SNAP program, that's the Student Neighborhood Access Program. The UDOT works very closely with our administrators to help with their mapping. And then as a district, then we work with all of the city engineering offices. The engineers can review and sign off on the plans, as well as we work with the police departments that are over the crossing guards. Jordan's Safety and Security Assessment, and I wish Matt was here for this section because he's been asking me about our high school scores. So we're now in our 4th year of our comprehensive Jordan Safety and Security Assessments. It's a wonderful tool. It gives us a chance to give both constructive feedback to the schools and to show them the areas where they're doing well. Since this program began in February of 2013, it has continued to improve, and we've seen an overall growth in all levels. Right now, what you see here, 2016-17, these are the current scores to date in comparison to last year. And you can see that all of our schools are performing very well. The only area that we're not is auxiliary services, DO, and transportation. We're down just over a point. But that's so far this year. We have room for improvement, right? This is a great program. We're really pleased to be able to do this and work closely with the schools on all these areas.
This is a rigorous assessment, too. This isn't just a simple fly-in and test. I mean, it's an extensive evaluation of the schools, and we couldn't be happier with this. I mean, you can see by the scores that people are taking it very, very serious.
Alarm response and monitoring. I don't know if everyone is aware, but we have an alarm responder on duty 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So when we're all with, hopefully with our families and friends on Thursday, we will have a Jordan School District employee roaming the district. And what they do is they do property checks to make sure that the schools are okay and secure. They respond to any alarm drops that we have and any emergencies that occur at a facility. They can dispatch maintenance workers to come and correct a problem. Quite often while we're all asleep, we may have a pipe break in a building. We may have some type of an issue, maybe a break-in. The whole goal of this program and these alarm responders is to make sure that kids show up the next day for school and they're ready to learn. Our whole goal is to make sure that we don't cancel school and we can get kids in there.
I just need to mention here,